Nothing is real. It's all an illusion. The conscious mind can't actually grasp how crazy this is. Raising your vibration. This is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about coming home to who you really are. Beliefs are like little organisms living inside your subconscious mind. And this is why sometimes at the start manifestation feels so hard, because guess what? It takes discipline. It's the fucking D word no one wants to talk about in manifestation. Your subatomic particles vibrate together, which determines the frequency you vibrate on, which determines what you manifest. Being an incredible manifester does not mean being in a high vibe state all the time. It actually also means I'm Alex Tripod, and this is the manifestation game. After coaching thousands around the world and becoming one of the most trusted voices in manifestation, I realized you don't get what you want, you get what you embody. If you're a high-achieving business owner who knows they were born for more wealth, more impact, more freedom, this podcast will unlock the codes. So let's collapse timelines. Let's calibrate to the frequency of your future self, because let's be honest, nothing is real. Everything's a hologram. Let's fucking go. Welcome to another episode of the Manifestation Game. And today I am speaking about my favorite topic that gets me going, that's super juicy. And this is all about the science behind manifestation, the no fluff, the no woo-woo, the no BS, really getting into, for you, like the science behind it, for you to actually understand how you are creating your current reality and how to create a completely different reality by raising your vibration. And this, I say vibration because a lot of us hear manifestation and we think law of attraction, right? And that was me from 18 years old till about 31, when I had my dark night of the soul and completely had my rock bottom. I was doing the, law of attraction stuff, and I was watching The Secret. And interestingly enough, even The Secret does not mention the law of vibration, right? It talks about the law of attraction. And so I feel like, if I'm being really honest, the law of attraction is like primary school. And the law of vibration is when we're graduating to Manifestation University. No pun intended. Actually, Manifestation University is what my program used to be called. Now it's called 5DU. So this is really important and close to my heart, because nothing ever shifted for me until I understood the intricacies, the science, what was happening in my brain, what was happening on a neurological level, what was actually happening vibrationally inside of me that was creating this thing we call reality, which is just an illusion, it's just a hologram, it's just a movie playing out. And so for me, what happened was I was having this sort of rock bottom moment, and I actually started reading this book called The Law of Attraction, The Essential Collection by Abraham Hicks. Now, before you go run out and buy that book, I believe that any book, any mentor, any course can change your life when you are ready. So I don't think it was the book itself, it's that I was finally ready, and I was soaking everything up in this book and implementing it. And it started to really talk about like the science behind manifestation, the law of vibration. And I remember having this experience, and I was down at the beach or going for a walk, and I was looking at my hands, and I was realizing, and it was like having this visceral experience of like finally understanding that everything is energy, including myself. That I think I'm real, I think I'm solid, I think I'm matter, but I'm actually just subatomic particles vibrating so fast that my eyes can't see, and it perceives it as matter, as solid. And so this is when I had this, it was like this experience of understanding myself as this vibrating quantum universe. And it was so expansive, but it was also quite scary because in that I was losing my identity because, well, if I'm not me, if I'm not this person, then who am I? And so if I'm just to go on a bit of a tangent, I'll just give you a little bit of what this actually means. When we talk about raising your vibration, I'm sure you've heard this expression, raise your vibration, right? And the reason and the whole point of raising your vibration, what it doesn't mean is it doesn't mean I'm going to raise my vibration to become who I'm not in order to get the stuff and the things to manifest the life I want. That is not what raising your vibration is. Raising your vibration is I'm going to raise my vibration, raise my frequency to let go of all the bullshit that I'm not, all the bullshit that I've been programmed with at imprint age from mommy and daddy or any other big influential person, all the lies I've been taught over all of my life, all the not enough programming that I get from society on a daily basis. I'm going to let go and release all the bullshit that I'm not to rise up to the truth of who I really am, because raising your vibration is actually a journey back home to who you really are, which is love, which is an eternal soul, which is a multidimensional being, which is, and this sounds so woo, that you are all of it. You're the universe. And I think it was actually a meme that I saw on Instagram, and I'm scrolling through, going on a scroll hole, and I saw this one, and it said, everything is energy. And then it said, okay, so atoms are made up of more than 99% empty space. To be specific, atoms are made up of 99.999999996% empty space. So what we consider solid, real matter makes up then less than 1%, right? So if we look at an atom being more than 99% empty space, and atoms are the building blocks of the universe, of everything, right? And subatomic particles atoms are made up of subatomic particles. And what are subatomic particles? Energy. That's it. So we think what we're seeing is real, is solid, is matter, but it's actually mostly empty space, which is why I talk about nothing is real. It's all an illusion. And just to give you a bit of context of what this means, because the conscious mind can't actually grasp how crazy this is, that if we were to put the entirety of humanity that exists on planet Earth right now, 7.8 billion people, if we were to put into what is actually matter, what is actually solid, what we'd actually see with our tangible physical eyes, we would all condense, fit into one sugar cube. That is the ratio of matter versus us beings on planet Earth of empty space, which is crazy, right? And so I also just want to go on a little other tangent before we go deeper into the science. And that is, when I understood this was really, really cool. So when we talk about so we're made up of cells, right? So when you raise your vibration, what's actually happening is you're holding more light at a cellular level. So you're programming, or you're calling in, or you're letting in, or you're allowing more light in every cell into your body. Now, the reason this is so powerful is because when we look at a dense vibration, it's a flat vibration. I'm depressed. I have a flat vibration. I feel shame. I feel guilt. That flat, dense vibration, all that means is it's a lack of information. It's a lack of light. Your cells are holding more darkness. You're in the dark, right? But when you're holding more light, you're actually more connected to source energy, God, universal consciousness, the divine, whatever you feel comfortable calling it. And so why this is so important is, think about it. If you were to hold more light on a cellular level and you were to connect more of the truth of who you really are, God, source energy, infinite intelligence, the divine, you'd already be being and doing a whole lot more with your life, because you wouldn't be living in fear or shame or scarcity or guilt or things that are actually holding you back from being the best version of yourself in this human experience. More of your soul would actually be emanating, walking, talking, speaking, breathing on a daily basis, right? And so, okay, so there's that, right? Now, if we go back into the law of vibration, what I love and what really stood out for me is actually looking at, we can be vibrating at different levels. We can be vibrating, and there's like this beautiful consciousness funnel. And when we look at this consciousness funnel, you can be vibrating at shame or guilt, which is like 20 hertz, 30 hertz, right? Think about the last time you felt shame. It literally feels so, it can feel debilitating for some people. It can feel so crippling, to the point that we all have secret strategies to not feel shame. We will deflect, we'll distract, we'll do all sorts. The human brain will do whatever it can to not feel shame. So one thing I wanted to put in here, please never call me a manifestation coach that will bypass feeling your feelings. I'm all about going in and actually processing the emotions that need to be processed. That is part of raising your vibration. Raising your vibration, being a high viber, being an incredible manifester does not mean being in a high vibe state all the time. It actually also means attending and being present with that as well. And also, side note, tangent, I see it in the space a lot of the time that a lot of people spend too much time in that, and they're not actually calibrating to the identity of who they want to become. So you're like, oh, they're feeling your fucking feelings. That's awesome that you spent all this time processing shame and guilt and density and trauma. Awesome, cool. And what are you going to do to shift your emotional frequency? What are you doing to calibrate to the new identity of who you want to become? Because if you don't do anything to do that, you're going to keep perpetuating those same emotions and staying stuck on that timeline. Okay. So then if we're vibrating at different levels, we can vibrating at shame. We can vibrate at love, which is 500 hertz, which is what we call the flow state, right? When we're in the vibration of anywhere between neutrality and higher, we can actually enter, and it's like the blue zone, which is what we call the super flow state, the flow state. And this is where it literally feels like you're in this zone where the universe is just like giving you all sorts of synchronicities, all the right people and circumstances, situations, conversations and events flow your way for you to manifest what you want. Remember, because it's not about poof magic, I want $20,000, bang, it's in my account. Holy shit, I want to shift into $20,000 months. All of a sudden I open my eyes. There's that coach that I need. There's that opportunity. There's that thing I'm going to say yes to. And all of a sudden these things start presenting themselves to you, and your reticular activating system is now aware of the things that you need to action on to actually make it happen, which is why taking courageous, consistent, aligned action is so important. So we can be vibrating at different levels. All right. Now, the next thing that I want to go into is you actually have your own personal energetic frequency. Right? Hashtag PEF. I'm starting a PEF revolution. Now, your personal energetic frequency is like your unique blueprint. It's like your unique soul blueprint, and kind of like your thumb, right? Your thumbprint, literally no one else has that in the entire world. So just like you have your own unique thumbprint, you also have your own unique frequency. PEF, personal energetic frequency. And what makes up your personal energetic frequency is 7 factors. These 7 factors literally determine how fast and light your subatomic particles vibrate together, which determines the frequency you vibrate on, which determines what you manifest. Literally, that's it. And yes, you can be vibrating in different levels in different areas of your life. For example, you can have a personal trainer who's vibrating at the frequency of love for his body and his health, but he cannot get a paying client if his life depended on it, or his finances are shit. He's stuck at 2 or 5K months. He's struggling financially, but his body's amazing, which means his money programming or his money frequency could be stuck anywhere between shame and anger, right? But his body frequency and health frequency could be anywhere from neutrality to joy. Okay. And again, what determines this as well, a huge factor, is how we've been conditioned and programmed in our imprint stage between 0 to 7. So our childhood plays a big factor in what we believe to be true about money, relationships, health, the world at large. Okay. Quick pause, legend. If you're loving this episode, you need to watch the Manifestation Game movie. It's not just a film, it's an activation. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the things, vision boards, affirmations, rituals, but you're still not seeing results, this movie will shift your frequency, rewire your beliefs, and give you the missing codes. Watch it now using the link in the show notes. Now back to the episode. So when we look at different levels and personal energetic frequency, I'm just briefly going to mention them. So, because I'm going to go into probably the most important one. So 7 factors you've got. Let's see if I remember them all, guys. So you got programming frequency, which is just another fancy way of saying belief systems. Programming frequency, thought frequency, emotional frequency. The word you speak, abracadabra, comes from a Hebrew saying, we create what we speak. Your level of self-love, your environment, and how you treat and relate with others. Bingo, we got all 7. Okay, and so when we look at, let's say, what are the most important ones, and not, I guess, important because they're all important, but one of the ones that I think a lot of people really struggle with to change is their programming. So when we look at your programming, this is your subconscious, not conscious, your subconscious beliefs, programs that are projecting out there and playing the movie of your reality. And until you change your programming, nothing's going to change, right? And so I really want this to land. Like, beliefs create reality. You don't believe it because it's true. It's true in your reality because you believe it. Remember, it's all you. It's literally a physical manifestation of your internal programming about that subject, right? And neuroscience tells us it takes 651 repetitions for a new belief to be formed. So Abraham Hicks says that a belief is just a thought you keep thinking chronically. So I promise you, a lot of your beliefs that you've actually imprinted in your subconscious mind as an adult is actually just you being fucking lazy because you're not choosing to think different thoughts than you did yesterday. So you keep repeating the chronic thought that no one wants to hear me, I'm invisible, I'm not important, it's hard to go viral, making money is hard, bullshit, 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 bullshit. So yeah, you do have an ethical responsibility to look at the shit that's going on in your head and realizing, well, do I want to believe that? And do I want to pick up on that chronic thought and do something about it? And the really cool thing about how this works is you don't even need to believe it first when you're trying to create a new belief. Like, it's the repetition that's actually going to form the new neural pathway, Remember, your subconscious mind is like your secret secretary. It will do and obey whatever your conscious mind feeds it on a consistent basis, to the point that I'm actually going to say, I want you to remember this. Beliefs are like little organisms living inside your subconscious mind. So I want you to start thinking like beliefs or programs. They're like these little living, breathing organisms in your subconscious mind. And what happens is these little organisms, right, they're either going to grow or shrink in your subconscious mind. And what determines whether they grow or if they shrink is what you are choosing to focus your attention towards. That is it, right? So isn't it interesting that the more you focus on your worries and your problems and everything that's going wrong in your life, the more shittier your life will become, or the bigger that problem gets? That's because you're feeding the organism in your subconscious mind that's saying, I don't deserve financial freedom. This is hard. My partner's treating me like shit. Look at all the evidence of them treating me like shit. Look at all the evidence of my reels not going viral. I'm crap. So you're feeding the organism and the belief that you actually don't want to believe. And this is why sometimes at the start manifestation feels so hard, because guess what? It takes discipline. It's the fucking D word no one wants to talk about in manifestation. Discipline, devotion. You've got to have that structure. You've got to have that consistency. You've got to have that discipline that stands on guard. And it's, do I want these shitty thoughts and beliefs going on in my head? Do I want to grow the belief that I'm not good enough? Or, as unfamiliar or clunky as it feels, am I going to choose to focus today on what's working for me? I want you to look around right now, whether you're walking around and you're listening to this, or maybe you're driving in the car, whatever. I dare you for the rest of today to literally see life as a catalog. And I want you to start looking at all the incredible things in your life. And I want you to focus to the best of your ability of everything that's going right for you, everything that's working, what you're grateful for, what you appreciate, how your partner is so incredible, how appreciative you are of that $2, $2,000, $20,000, $200,000 that you already have in your bank account, how you are already doing amazing in your business, the lives you've already changed in the clients that you've helped, not the lack of clients, how many you've already. And I promise you, this is going to shift your focus, and it is your ethical responsibility to grow the organisms, the belief systems in your subconscious mind that are serving you. So which belief systems are in alignment with the life that you want to create? So that was a full tangent, but I trust that serves. So walk around all day, start looking like life is a magical catalog, and just go around. And anything that you potentially don't have that you want, you can literally, use a process that I do and be like, I am that, I am that, I'm that too. Yes, and yes, and yes. And I just go around and saying, yep, that's me too. And I'm that. And yes, that's me, because it's all me. So the universe is showing me examples of other things that I can also choose to have, instead of feeling bad that I don't have that. And side note, this is also where you get to be really aware if you're in a scroll hole and you're looking at that person going viral, that person hit their first 100K month. Instead of you feeling bad about yourself that you don't have that now and feeling that discord, you get to then give your subconscious mind the green light. I get to have that too. Ding, 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 ding. Right? Because a lot of the time we're unconsciously we're having jealousy, or we're envious, or we're feeling bad about ourselves that we don't have that. And what we're doing unconsciously is we are creating a negative anchor towards that thing that you actually want to create. So it's computing to the subconscious mind, it's not safe to go and create that thing. So you're actually pushing it away. Okay, I want you to start seeing everyone as you, as 5D and New Earth as that sounds, and as hard as that is sometimes when we're in scarcity and we're going through some stuff. It's all you. Everyone is you pushed out. Kind of want to just kind of give you a little bit of NLP here to back up everything that I've been saying around the reticular activating system and how we distort, delete, and generalize information too. So neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, tells us, and I'm just going to be conservative here because some people say 4 million, 40 million, 40 trillion. Let's just find a middle spot. So neuro-linguistic programming says that at any given time, every second, we have 40 million bits and pieces of information coming at us per second. And our brain can only sift and sort and take in anywhere between 5 to 9 of those bits and pieces of information. And that's what determines our reality. And literally, I want you right now to imagine every second there is 40 million toothpicks flying at you every second. 40 million toothpicks flying at you every second. Data, light, noises, right? And your brain can only compute 5 to 9 of these, depending on your programming. And that's going to determine your reality, which is why 7.8 billion people around the world are having 7.8 billion different personal realities, because it's based on your personal energetic frequency, which is based on those 7 factors that we talked about. So if we're going to get really sciencey, I also just want to share when we're looking at hertz. So people will hear hertz. What's a hertz? So as we said, shame is 20 hertz, love is 528 hertz, joy is like 800 hertz. And get this, here's for a bit of science, that gratitude, the power of gratitude, I'm sure you've heard of it, gratitude can actually shift your vibration all the way up to anywhere between 600 to 800 hertz, meaning you're like vibing so high. Your subatomic particles are literally dancing. They're pinging, right? And this is why gratitude is such a powerful amplifier, and also why they say that gratitude and fear cannot coexist. Try going on a gratitude rant and being in fear at the same time. Literally, you can't, because you're in a higher frequency, and that you can last there 2 minutes. It doesn't mean you're going to stay there all day, right? But super, super powerful. And so when we look at hertz, to get really sciencey, a hertz is simply a cycle per second. And a cycle per second, all that really means is if we look at a cycle, so cycles, like if we look at a wave in the quantum, it's going up and down and up and down. So if you look at a flat vibration will literally have a flatter curve. So go up a little bit and down a little bit. But a really high vibration, someone who's vibing high, maybe in the frequency of love or joy, their peaks and troughs have got a lot more range, if that makes sense. And so why this is important to know is a lot of people always ask me, like, how do I collapse time? How do I manifest it faster? How you literally collapse time, how you literally manifest faster is you become obsessed with raising your vibration by shifting your little subatomic particles so fast, so light, right? Because what happens is when we're in a higher frequency, the distance between the peak and the trough is one cycle. And that distance, when someone's in a high vibrational state, they will manifest what they want literally 10 times faster than someone who's in a flat, dense vibration. So I just wanted to put that in there. I also just want to mention as well, like, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about heart-brain coherence a lot as well. And this really changed the game for me about 5 years ago when I started to introduce vibe boosters, which really took like everything that Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about with meditation and tapping into the infinite you, and how, you know, all our power lies in the quantum and the vibrational you, and our bodies is literally a physical manifestation of our vibrational self, our infinite self, right? And we literally have the power to heal ourselves. And when he talked about heart-brain coherence, this was really cool. And this, for me, I'm not someone that loves to sit down and do hour-long visualizations or guided meditations. For me, like, yes, I have my morning set routine, but I also really like short things throughout the day to plug into to make sure that I'm keeping my vibration high, because most people don't realize this, but their vibrational set point is at a lower level, and you get frustrated because 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks go by and you're not vibing high permanently. And this permanent shift happens over consistently raising your vibration. Over time, you will shift your vibrational set point. How I did it is through something called vibe boosters, because vibe boosters literally put me directly into heartburn coherence, which means I'm not constantly walking around life in a stressed state. I'm not married to the physical 3D world, meaning if I'm not experiencing it with my 5 physical senses, then it's not real. And that's what most people do. We make the 3D supreme, when actually the supreme is the infinite version of you. It's the quantum you. It's the vibrational you. And when people tap into that power, that's when their physical reality shifts so fast that they think it's magic, but it's actually just science. It's actually just manifestation. And just to give you some tangibility of how vibe boosters changed my life, I was literally stuck at the same income level for years. It didn't matter how hard I worked. It didn't matter what coach I invested in. I was like, how am I making this much money, but somehow my bank account isn't increasing, right? And that's because I had a financial thermostat and I didn't feel safe to hold more money. And so what needed to shift was my nervous system, and my capacity. And how I did this was tapping into heartburn coherence multiple times a day throughout the day. And lo and behold, I created my own vibe boosters. I've been obsessed ever since 5 years ago. And within 8 months, I increased the wealth I held in my assets and in my bank account by 330%. I didn't change my strategy. I didn't take more action. Literally, all I changed was plugging into my vibe boosters, which are 5 minutes long, 5 times a day, which are a game changer, which I know is such a big reason why people love them. So if you want to experience this, you can literally go to my Instagram if you want. Just DM me the word vibe, and there's a 7 vibe booster pack that you can get, like, that covers all different areas. And this is going to instantly put you into that heartburn coherence. Last thing that I haven't mentioned, which is wild that I haven't mentioned it, is that quantum physics tells us it takes 6 to 8 weeks for the metaphysical and the physical to start aligning, meaning that it can take up to 6 to 8 weeks for how you're feeling on the inside to start showing up in your reality as clients, people complimenting you, your business changing, whatever it is that you want to manifest, right? So if you're 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, maybe even 4 weeks in, and your reality, your hologram hasn't completely shifted, this is not a time to say Alex is full of shit. This is a time for you to say, hey, I'm going to keep going till I get to that 6 to 8 week mark, because I already know what giving up on myself looks like. I've done that 100 times. So what if I actually just kept going? Because I know that the universe, my hologram, must conform to my dominant frequency. So I'm going to keep making my frequency my number one priority, and I'm going to see what I can actually shift. So to wrap it up, guys, I just want to reiterate, remember, raising your vibration. This is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about coming home to who you really are. You're an eternal soul. You're love. You're all of it. This is all about holding more light on a cellular level. So you're more tapped into infinite intelligence. So you become the best version of you, so you can serve humanity from that space. Remembering that nothing is real. Remembering that atoms are more than 99% empty space. Remembering that we can be vibrating at different levels, and we're all going to have some some areas of our life that we struggle more with others, and that when we look at our personal energetic frequency, we're going to have the 7 factors that make up how you're vibrating, your thoughts, your belief systems, what you're abracadabraing into existence. Are you jealous of others when they have what you want? Are you celebrating them? What's your level of self-worth like? If you've got a belief in your head that you don't like, great. This is a little organism that I am going to start shrinking as of today, because I'm going to stop focusing on this area of my life that is triggering me. And instead, I'm going to look at the things that are working for me. I'm going to start growing the organisms in my subconscious mind that are actually in alignment with what I want to create. Remembering that even if you have a shitty belief, that it takes 651 repetitions for a new belief to be formed. And let's just be okay with the fact that your programs right now are just a amalgamation, a crystallization of chronic thoughts that you've been too sloppy or too lazy up until this episode to bring conscious discipline to actually shift. Know that you're not a victim just because you had shitty money or love or body programming at your imprint stages. Thank you, mum and dad. Remember, your soul chose your mum and dad. And remember that, yeah, it's up to you to really get your hands on either the tools, the things that are going to shift your life, that are going to really change this. This is why I'm so... I'm going to talk about this in another episode, but this is why I'm so hell-bent on having a morning routine that's going to give you that foundation and that consistency of things that actually do to change your life. And if you don't know where to get started, literally download my Vibe Boosters and go have fun with that. So to wrap it up, guys, know that I have literally thrown you in the deep end with this episode. Like, I am giving you 9 years of my obsession of quantum physics and science, and I've kind of butchered some things, and I've put what should really have taken 2 hours in a short little episode. So if you're feeling a bit fried or you're curious around some things, know that I've really thrown you in the deep end with some incredible things around understanding the science behind manifestation. And hopefully this is really going to allow you to lean into, it's not woo-woo, it's not fluff, it's tangible, it's real, and you literally have the power to shift your programming. And now that you know how everything works, it's going to give you more inspiration, more motivation to actually start doing the things that are necessary to change your hologram, because it's all an illusion. It's all a hologram. Look around at your movie playing right now. It's all you. And how exciting, because now you know what's going on inside of you and what's created that and how you can create something completely different. So digest it. I love you. Amazing. Thanks for tuning into the manifestation game. If this episode activated something inside of you, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube so you never miss a drop, because as you know, my mission is to raise the vibration of humanity on a global scale. So the more people that this reaches, the faster we shift into the new earth. For more daily downloads and frequency shifts, come find me on social media at Alex Tripod. Let's keep manifesting the shit out of life.